Welcome to the Redvee TV Instant Fan Reaction, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2020 season, as Saints have absolutely demolished Leeds Rhinos 48-0 at Emerald Headingley. Does that go down, Kevin, as one of Saints' best ever wins in Super League?
Yeah, you could argue that. Why not? They never win like that when I'm stood on the terrace at Headingley, though. It's always a tight game, a drop goal in it, or a penalty here or there. But no, I thought it was excellent. People will point to Leeds having Louis, Myler, Harrell and Donaldson out. But you've just got to play whatever's in front of you, and we were very, very professional.
It's also never that dry on the Western Terrace either, is it?
I don't know. You do get some nice afternoons, but you know about it if it does start raining.
48 points to 0, and I don't think that flattered us in the slightest. I think I tweeted at 18-0 that it was like a training game. I thought we were absolutely dominant from start to finish, yet there was still room for improvement.
Yeah, I think it'd be easy to get carried away, and you'd understand why some fans will. But yeah, we were great. There was room for improvement. I think the start of the second half, we started allowing Leeds to get some offloads, and our discipline probably wasn't where it should have been. You could say that for different periods in the game, but as you say, we just kind of kept Leeds at arm's length, and we mentioned it last week. The defensive effort was absolutely superb.
People will be saying you're negative next, Kev. Negative, Kev, in the comments.
I think they might do, but you know what? I'm almost trying to keep a lid on it. It was a wonderful performance, but it's the second game back after lockdown. If we're still playing like that, come grand final time, Challenge Cup final time, fantastic. I don't know. I'm trying to be realistic. But on saying that, we've just gone to the home of the team who were top of the league at the start of this weekend, and we have demolished them.
Yeah, and listen, Leeds had a couple of players out. We were lacking Mark Percival in the centres, and we've just nilled Leeds on their home patch for the first time ever in Super League. It doesn't matter what Leeds team you're facing. Even the relegation-threatened Leeds didn't get nilled at home by us. Our biggest ever margin of victory over Leeds in Super League. It's a wow of a performance, and it's built on from the start by your two prop forwards. Alex Walmsley was absolutely unplayable tonight. He was absolutely unreal from minute one to the last. The one he scored himself, or the one he did in the build-up for James Graham's first, but then even an hour, 65 minutes into the game where it would have been easy for him to ease off, he's still rampaging through, going 35 metres and then little handoff to Theo Farsh. It's just, it's a wow performance. I'm sorry, I know I'm going a little chuffy face on.
No, listen, people, we should be happy with that performance. That should be the level that we are playing at, where there is improvement in the game as well. As we've said, Leeds are missing some. Listen, Rob Lewitt, we spoke about him in the preview. He's a good player. He's great for them. Him and Gale do fit well together. James Donaldson, he's a good forward. He does a lot of stuff that you kind of don't notice. I think he alluded to that on commentary. And then Conrad Harrell, and they've been playing Richie Myler at fullback. All of a sudden, they've got to switch it round and put Ash Handley at fullback and bring the other Briscoe brother onto the wing. And I don't think Leeds helped themselves. As good as we were, there were some bonehead plays from Leeds. You look at, we knock on in our own half. The winger gets hold of it. Luke Briscoe runs with it and then kicks it forward as if it's a free play. And we get the ball back, and you just think, times like that, the composure, the kind of knowing what situation you're in and basically knowing the rules of rugby. And I know it's easy for us to say, sat on our couches watching the game, but it's basics like that they'll probably upset Richard Agar that they haven't just done the your normal game plan, and they've come up with some of these silly plays. And when things don't go for you, I think they give away an accidental offside with a fifth tackle kick, where Gale hammers it straight into the back of one of his own players. All of a sudden, things like that don't go for you, and you come up against the Saints team who look like they're going to score at any given opportunity, and it's going to be a long evening for you, as it was for Leeds.
Yeah, he definitely forgot the rules when they got the ball back, and he thought it was a free play. Before we go on any further, I want to talk about James Bentley. Obviously, there was talk Don Payru might be back this week. Obviously, he's missed out again through illness. But for me, at this moment in time, James Bentley deserves his shirt in that starting 13. I thought he was fantastic again tonight, and the amount of headshots that Leeds give away early in that first half was simply down to the speed and the footwork of James Bentley, and he's coming good. He was the Championship Player of the Year for the Bradford Bulls in 2016 or 17. He's come to us, and I think we're now beginning to see the player that he can be, and I thought he was absolutely fantastic again tonight.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. I know Christian Wolf has mentioned that players get, credit that they've been in the team for a couple of years and put performances in. But if you get hold of a jersey and you play to the levels that James Bentley currently is doing, and he's almost, we've said about Saints playing really well and having improvement in us, James Bentley's exactly the same. I like that little bit of, he doesn't take a backward step. He's got that little bit of aggression in him. He just needs to possibly channel that a little bit more. He does make a couple of errors, a couple of silly ones. Like there was a penalty given against him for holding a player in, which they said on telly it was a soft one, and you're not bothered as long as it's consistent. But things like that, again, it's easy to say don't put yourself in that situation when you're sat on a couch and you're not playing at that intensity. But there's just, as I say, over the next couple of years, I know he only signed a 1-year deal with us recently, but there's no reason why he shouldn't be seen as a starting second rower, or at least battling for a place in the starting 13. I don't think you can drop him from the 17, even if Don Payru comes back in, scores a hat-trick of tries, makes 80 tackles in a game. James Bentley's got to be in that 17 at the moment.
Yeah, I think you're quite right. I think he's the future. You're right. I think he's got that little bit of grub on him, a little bit like John Bateman. Maybe not as much, but it's definitely there. Next up, Regan Grace. To think those were his first tries of the season, and you'll probably not see a better hat-trick in Super League this season. Now, Kev, I'm glad you got to see the third, because I believe that you had a fire alarm.
We did. We had a fire alarm, just before Regan scored his hat-trick try. So, yeah, we've been outside and trying to get in touch with people to come down and sort it all out. So, we're all right. There's no fire. It's just a faulty alarm, thankfully.
If there's any Wigan fans watching this, they'll know what it's like for a fire alarm to go off after about 65 minutes of a game, won't they?
What, and just evacuate the stadium?
Yeah.
Listen, people are talking about the Regan Grace's first tries of the season. He's missed part of the season through injury. He's not played every game. He's not had Mark Percival. And I know he's not had Mark Percival today, but usually you'd say, well, you have your set left-hand side, and we were good at going wide. We weren't doing that before lockdown. People, whether they've got short memories or not, we weren't playing expansive rugby. We were playing okay. We did well against Salford. Second half against Hull, Roosters game, fantastic. But we weren't throwing it out wide as we did, and we always seemed to be heavy on that left side. That seemed to be the one that we'd go to. But as you say, pick me out a better hat trick than that this season, and I'll be very, very pleased to watch it.
Yeah. So we've talked Regan Grace, we've talked Alex Walmsley, but as an all-round team performance, defensively absolutely spot on. And we've gone from 7th or 8th to second. I did talk in the preview show that we could go top if Wigan got beat today. They very nearly did in the end. Up to second, it's all rosy in Saints land. I mentioned at half time, where's the Wolf out brigade gone? And do you know what? People said you're entitled to your opinion at the time, and that's fine. But for me, if you're going to start coming along with your wolf out comments, which you're entitled to have if that's what you wanted, come along and then admit when you're wrong as well.
I think the disappointing thing it's not after 25 games, and we're sat 7th, 8th in the table, or even worse. I think it's symptomatic of the social media era that people can just put something out there, and we do it as well. You can just put something out there and it sticks, and it might get a little bit of traction. But it was after like 5 games, people wanted him out, and yeah, the rugby wasn't great. But now it is a case of you've got to give a coach time, and 5 games isn't time. Because who would we have brought in? Who would we have brought in at that point? Would it have been a case of, right, we've got to go for Watson, we've got to go and try and find another NRL assistant coach? If we're sacking coaches after 5 games because the fans don't like it, then all of a sudden you're in a spiral and you're not going to be getting the calibre of coach that you actually want at the Saints. So, yeah, people are entitled to their opinion, and we'll retweet both sides of the argument. We'll get involved in conversation with both sides of the argument. But just sometimes I just wish that people would think on that after 5 games, you're not giving someone time, especially someone who's just coached the team to a win against the Aussies.
Technical difficulties there, Kev. I think you went into the corner of the screen, it just went black. I was trying to bring up the comments that we got after the game so fans can join in our fan reaction. And I think we'll just start off with the blonde bombshell himself.
Good-looking fella, that man.
Oh, amazing.
And you know what? He's been playing well since we've come back as well. He has been doing well, and it's good to see. Yeah,
well deserving of his place in the squad at the moment. Yeah. I know we talked in the preview that he might drop out tonight, but do you know what? He always stands up, Kyle Amor, when he's probably maybe not even under a bit of pressure, or he's fighting for his place in this team, and it's good to see.
Yeah, and that's it. As you see, if he drops out of the 17, he's very unlucky. We're going to see a lot of rotation towards the middle and end of the season, you'd think. So if he does drop out, no doubt he'll be back in it again.
Christian likes the blonde bombshell.
Good man. I like that gif.
We can bring it on. Hang on. We can bring it on. Okay. Just John, 10 out of 10 from all within an 11 out of 10 for Big Al. Wilf Marshall up in Scotland, absolutely sensational. Oh, hang on a minute, here's another Scotsman, Peter Elder. As close to perfect a performance you could see. Are they following each other?
Yeah, of course they are.
Fred said, Grace amazing, should have been amazing Grace. You missed out on that one. Lynn's hard, fat, strong, beautiful magic. Hard to disagree.
Yeah.
Sean Williams, the judges are bringing up the nils, not for us, but they're bringing up the Leeds.
Yeah, fair enough. Like
someone saying it's amazing, all of them. Only one try conceded in 2 games. And you know what, Kev? Considering the speed of the games, to only concede 1 try in 160 minutes is a really, really good effort.
It is, and it's probably worth speaking about those who aren't on the field about that. So you look at your strength and conditioning team, your physio team, getting players in that right condition straight away for the restart. So I think Matty Daniels and the likes, absolutely fantastic job that they're doing. And it's them putting the kind of the building blocks in place for the players then to go out and be at that peak physical condition. So the coaching staff do the work, and let's not forget that there are other bits of the back room that are vital as part of Super League.
No comment from Rhino Dave tonight. We'll let you off, Rhino Dave.
Yeah, I like Rhino Dave. He's fine.
Disappointed idealist. Good to see 2 quick wingers. Takes us back to the days of Sullivan and Hunt. Do you know what? We haven't mentioned Tommy Makinson. Barry McDermott wants his kids, doesn't he? You can just hear him every time Tommy Mack ran the ball in. He's going, oh.
But to be fair, Makinson hits good lines. He makes absolutely fantastic meters. It's almost like having another second rower on the wing, but being able to come in and do a lot of hard work. And it just gets you out of a bad position and starts putting you on the front foot. Tonight, it's made Leeds think, because they can't just look at, right, this is going to go to the likes of Zeb Tyre, who again was great tonight, or James Bentley. There's a winger going to come in and run at us at that same speed and intensity and knock us backwards. So, yeah, well, Tommy Makinson, we know Tommy Makinson is one of the best in Super League all-round players, so I'm not surprised that Barry Mack loves him.
Christian Wolf, we said before he'd come, he looked like one of the hardest fellas you'd ever seen in your entire life. It looks like he's just learned to smile.
You can tell him that.
Yeah, John Kelly, complete performance from start to finish, practically perfect in every way. Obviously, Percival comes back in, but do you make any other changes for next week, even if Peru is fully fit? Do you know what? I'm going to say, unless you're doing it to rest players, then no, because you don't deserve to lose your place on that performance.
And I agree with you there. It's whether you've got, because we have got a couple of older forwards, and it's whether you turn around and think, like, we've not risked Percival today. I think if it had been a big game, Percival would have played. If it had been a big... by that I mean a final or a semi-final to get you somewhere.
Does he potentially play if Harrell was fit?
Yeah, possibly so. Yeah. But... yeah, you're hard pushed to turn around and say that someone deserves to drop out of that 17. Matty Costello just is one of the backup brigade, as they always say on FIFA whenever I'm playing that, who's got his chance today. But Percival is a Super League starter, and you don't leave the likes of a fit Mark Percival out.
Campbell Wake, John Reeds, both saying we're fantastic. Andreas is back this week. Grace Walmsley, Farge, all outstanding. And he mentions Coots' kicking game as well, 8 from 8. I think he's got one of the top percentages in the Super League now for kicking. And they weren't all easy ones either. He kicked 1 or 2 from out wide. I think he's put that one to bed, hasn't he, with his kicking?
Yeah, listen, it's not an easy discipline after while you're playing to kind of keep up in the 90%. So, as you say, he's kicked a couple off the touchline. And it's testament to him that he's able to do that and able to compose himself. It must be weird after having people shouting at you from the touchline, you're going to miss this, or giving him grief. For it to be silent, it'll be you'd imagine a completely different mindset, having a couple of thousand Leeds fans behind him, hammering hoardings or shouting at him, to being completely silent. But he's a good goal kicker. Matt Percival's a good goal kicker. Tommy Makinson's a good goal kicker. We're well stocked in that department.
Andrew Foster, AF from Bradford, having nightmares of what it was like when we had Sullivan and Hunt running at them. Keith Melia, he knows it would have been raining on that Western Terrace had we been there tonight. And Stuart Ross nails the tweet by going with the amazing Grace line.
Yes.
And I think the last one, again, outstanding Robbie J. Bentley standing up again, which we've discussed, as says Paul Bennett. Deck Gallagher says we're unreal, totally dominant. And who knew Wolfie could smile that much? We've discussed that, and we didn't.
Yeah.
David Rigby, how'd you play? Tyre, Bentley, Walmsley and Roby saying not pick up the Man of the Match award. Great to see James Roby being able to be taken off after 50-odd minutes again. It's making managing his playing time easy, isn't it, with these performances?
It is, and it's allowing us to get Aaron Smith much needed game time, because that's how he's going to develop. He's not going to develop by having 10 minutes here and there. Having a good stint, having a good 30-35 minutes, it's needed for him. It's needed for his development. just going back to Keith Mealia, he knows full well it'd have been raining on that Western Terrace. It'd have been raining and it'd have been like 22-20 instead.
Yeah. David Rigby did send us a comment saying that after that performance, what are you going to be playing for us on your guitar?
I don't know, something upbeat. Should we just do a marching on together for a laugh?
I'll get my trombone out.
Please don't.
I think we'll leave it at that.
Thank God. I'm not off your stride. You say don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and then end it.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. The Saints were on fire. Kev's house was nearly on fire. And we will catch you during the week for the Redvee TV show. What? Catch you soon. Neil?